Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be investing in some self-care and we're going to attempt to make some dandelion tea. I've not made dandelion tea before, or I've actually never had anything with dandelion before. No fried dandelions, no dandelion jelly. And I was doing some research and Dirk and I got to talking about it and decided we wanted to make some dandelion jelly. But with him being on shutdown this week, his schedule's a little wonky. And I think that I'm gonna wait and do the jelly with him in a separate video. But today I'm going to experiment with some dandelion tea. So y'all will be able to come along with this journey with me for my first time making it. So we'll see how it goes. So with dandelion tea, you can actually use the flower, the leaves, and the root. But today I'm just gonna be using the flowers themselves. So when you go to pick them from the yard, how you want to do it if you're just going to be using the flower, let's see right here, you can just snip it right underneath and go ahead and toss it into whatever vessel you're wanting to use. I don't really know how much I'm going to be making today. I think I'm just going to be doing about a cup just to try it out for myself, and then I might go ahead and make Dirk a thermos as well for when he gets off work later today, so he can see how he likes it. I don't know if I'm gonna try and have it cold myself or if I'm gonna try it hot. I've never been a big tea drinker at all. I mean, aside from sweet tea, cold sweet tea. But I don't know, maybe about a month or so ago, I started buying the celestial tea. I don't know if that's its exact name. And Dirk and I have been having a thermos of tea every night before bed, and it's amazing how much it's helped me sleep. And it's not even been specific like sleepy time varieties, so it's definitely opened up my horizons when it comes to different teas and everything. And definitely this year, when I get my herb garden up and running, I'll definitely be making a lot of my own teas. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some dandelions picked. I read that if you're just doing a cup, you can do anywhere from 5 to 8 flowers for one single cup. And of course, that's gonna differ based on each person, how strong you want it and whatnot. So I'm just gonna get to picking some and we'll see where it takes us. Picked several dandelions. I think that that'll be plenty for me to do a cup of tea for myself and to have a little bit made for Dirk as well. Like I said, it's all gonna be based on personal preference, and since I've not tried this before, by doing the tea from the flowers themselves and not the root, it's supposed to have kind of a sweeter taste to it. And so now the next step is going to be removing all the green and the stems. Those parts, while edible, give it kind of an unpleasant bitter taste from what I've read. So at least for right now, we're gonna stay away from the green, and I'm sure we can figure out something to do with those later in the future so that the entire flower gets put to use. And essentially, you just wanna start peeling it back. And putting the flower bits in. And if you've done this before and know of an easier or faster process to get the greens off and to separate the flower, please let me know. I mean, I'm sure I could be using scissors and it would work just as fine. But like I said, this is an experiment for myself today, and y'all are just gonna be along for the ride. And as with anything, you know, it takes practice, so we'll figure it out as we go. All right, as you can see, I've gotten quite a few flowers torn apart in there. Definitely more than I should need for just what I'm making today. So I had some dandelions left over. All right, so we are at the dough hutch right now, and I'm gonna give some of these dandelions to the bunnies. Good morning, Butters. What are you doing, sweetie? Okay, how wholesome is that, y'all? There you go. Tanner's never had them before, so she doesn't know quite what to think. Little bit. Why? Why do you insist on putting your hay in your water dish? It's not been windy, so I know that's not the problem. Here you go. There's my teddy. Here you go, buddy. There you go. Here you go, Bubba. Good boy. All right, so we are back inside now. I distributed the rest of the flowers to all the rabbits, so they're all munching on a little early afternoon snack. So let's get started in here. I've already gotten water in my tea pot here, my tea kettle. So we're just gonna get that to boiling. So I went to the store this morning to buy one of the little individual tea steeping balls, the little metallic ones. And of course they were out, so I got this little guy instead. And I got this, excuse me, simply because since I'm only going to be making a small amount today, this fits perfectly on top of one of the thermoses. So what I'm going to do, maybe a little silly step, I could just use a colander in the bathroom, but I'm just going to use this small one here. And what I'll do when the water's boiled, which should be any minute now, this burner is kick butt, I will go ahead and put the dandelion flowers in one of the thermoses. I'll pour the water on top of it and I'll let it steep for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then once it's done, I'll use this on the top of the other thermos and transfer it over. That way I'm not battling, you know, swallowing flower petals. So that's why I have this. Really, you can use any method. You can use cheesecloth. You can use anything that'll filter out what little flowers may want to come through. So, all right. So I'm just gonna open up the tea kettle and just let it kind of simmer down just a second, so it's not on a roiling boil when I put it in. But I'm gonna go ahead and get my flowers. And I'll probably use maybe half of these in this thermos. And then I'll do the other half afterward. And I'll have it in the fridge waiting on Dirk tonight when he gets home. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it, excuse me, right on top. And I've seen where some people prefer to use a bowl, a large bowl, to put the leaves in and steep it that way, and that would work just as well, I'm sure. But I have this to where I can have the lid closed, and it's gonna steep for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then we'll give her a try and see how we like it. So as my tea steeps just a little bit longer, I wanted to go ahead and put it out there that I did just a little bit of research into the health benefits of dandelions and making the tea and everything, but I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I don't have any history in the health field, so I'll leave it up to y'all to go online and do some research into the health benefits and decide on your own whether or not it's something that you think you might want to try out. Enough of what I read led me to think, yeah, definitely, we'll give it a shot. So obviously, if you're going to be making the jelly, that comes with a lot of sugar and pectin. So that's not going to be as healthy as just doing straight up tea. But we do intend on making the jelly and trying that out. When it comes to salsas, dips, jellies, that's way to my heart right there. Love them, can't get enough of them. All right, we are going to very carefully take the lid off. And attempt to do this without making a mess. And that is just the perfect little size for that. And I am not great at pouring, apparently, without making a mess. All right. And just like that, not a single flower petal in there. And you can see it's got that nice yellowish tint to it that the dandelion would definitely give. All right, here's the moment of truth. It's still really hot, so hopefully I don't scald my mouth too badly. Not bad at all. You know, I don't really know how to describe that. It does have a little bit of a sweet taste. I don't know what I was expecting, so I'm having a hard time describing it, but I like it. I picked up a lemon at the store today because that's one of the things that I was reading. You can add a little bit of lemon juice to cut down on any bitterness, or if it's too sweet. But I don't think I need any. You can also add honey to it as well. That's something that I read that a lot of people are fond of doing. But honestly, when it comes to just the flower petals like that, I like it just as is. So that's how I'm going to drink it. I have a feeling that when I get to the point where I want to experiment with the root tea, the dandelion root tea, I think it might have a little bit more bitterness to it. So that might be when I use more of some lemon juice and some honey. But that's not going to be for today. That'll be for a future experiment. But hope you've enjoyed tagging along with me today. I definitely recommend trying your hand at some dandelion jelly. I mean, all said and done, between picking the dandelions and getting the green cleared off, I mean, it was maybe a 30-40 minute project, all said and done. Again, this is just for just a little over 1.5 cups per each thermos. So it's not enough to fill up an entire pitcher. If I wanted to do that, I would definitely have to pick a lot more dandelions. But I was reading that the dandelion tea should be good for about 36 hours, just if you want to keep it chilled in the refrigerator. There are other ways to preserve the dandelions before you actually make them into tea. But I'm not going to mess around with doing that today. I probably will do that in a future video when it comes to the end of dandelion season, so that we can pull some out during the winter and make some tea, make some jelly, something like that. But hope you've enjoyed tagging along, seeing a few of the bunnies, and I hope this gives you something new to try on a dreary day like today. But until next time, friends, keep on keeping on.